The US and Cuba have reached an understanding on resuming regular commercial flights between the two countries. Unnamed officials in Cuba and the US said an announcement was imminent. It is unclear when the flights would start because negotiations between the Cuban government and the US airlines could take months. The move is a significant step nearly a year after the former Cold War enemies began restoring diplomatic relations. The U.S. reopened its embassy in Havana in August after a 54-year absence. A State Department spokesperson said the two countries are making progress but still negotiating on resuming flights. The understanding is a key development as Cuba and the U.S. continue to negotiate over a number of issues which could ultimately see the U.S. trade embargo lifted. The news comes as travel between the U.S. and Cuba surged by an estimated 50% this year. Thousands of Americans are already visiting the island and hotels and hostels are booked for months. But those traveling have to do so using difficult to book charter flights or via third countries. A formal agreement could mean more than a dozen flights arriving into Cuba from the US a day, officials said. In some regards, the move to restore commercial flights is one of the most significant steps of the past 12 months in that it will further facilitate the arrival of American visitors to Cuba. With tourism increasingly becoming the main economic motor for the communist-run island, it comes as little surprise that the Cuban government was as keen on this particular measure as their counterparts in Washington. It has been an extraordinary year in Cuba-US relations. But sticking points remain in normalizing the bilateral ties. In particular, the Cubans want to see the U.S. economic embargo on the island lifted as soon as possible, something President Obama has repeatedly urged Congress to do.